So today we'll talk about the word Purush. There is Purush and there is Purusha. In Vedanta, Purusha is equivalent to Brahma, equal to Prana and Prakruti, Shiv and Parvati, like that. But that's not what we're talking about today. Purush is man, and not just a man or woman either. Man means human being. So he's called Purush. And the word Purush comes from Pura. Does anybody know what Pura means? Hastinapura, all those towns' names ending up in Pura. So Pura means town. So the question is, what has Purush to do with a town? So the literal meaning is the one who lives in the town is Purush. And again, like I said, not just the male or a female, everybody, all human beings live within the Pura. Pura is the city. This body being our city, the whoever is residing inside is called Purush. So the question comes, what is Purush? Has anything to do with the city, Pura? This is how the name was derived, because the body is considered a city. A city has several entrances: 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, the mouth, and the anus. All those holes through which, front and the back and everything, through these holes, the entry and exit takes place. So when you see something, the vision that you have, the whatever you perceive, it is picked up by your eyes. And then eyes only do the job of picking it up and transmitting. Eyes does not decide anything. What it saw, it has no idea. So all that interpretation is done at the mind level. So ultimately, all the information goes to the mind. Same thing with the ears. You listen to the music, but again, ears are only transmitting. So through each hole, same thing with the nose, we inhale, through the mouth, we eat, taste food, all those things happens, right? Entry, exit, things are happening all the time. The problem is if a city is what we are living in, who is controlling this city? There has to be a king controlling the city, the one who is in charge. So the mind, they say, is in charge. So that's why mind is considered Indra's darbar. It's a courtyard of Indra. Indra is the god who supervises all the senses and all the entryways into the city. Now, each entrances are controlled by the guards. And they don't, or at least they should not allow the enemies to get in. But enemies do get in. How? If you like to see something, then your eyes has to give the approval that, okay. The mind will say it's okay. So as the entrance is happening into this, through these entrances, all the outside infiltration of the enemies are happening. They are just bribing. Like they ask the tongue, do you like this food? Tongue says, yes, let's go. Tongue was supposed to keep the food off the unhealthy foods. Same thing, unhealthy music, unhealthy sights. All these things were supposed to be controlled by your sense organs. But the sense organs are getting bribed. The outside food says, okay, it will taste good. So the tongue says, okay, no problem, then let it come in. So each entrances of this city are controlled by the sense organs, and the traffic, the incoming traffic, is allowed, even though they are enemies of our body, our health, mental, spiritual, the foods, all the unhealthy stuff is being allowed to go in. And what happens to the king? The mind. Mind is drunk. It doesn't care. So there is a dissociation between the mind and the sense organs. Sense organs allows the foods to come in, and under the intoxication of the bribe that the guardsmen have received, part of that goes to the king. King is happy and nothing happens. What do you think is going to happen to this city? If the enemies keep on infiltrating, sooner or later, from inside, the body, the city, the Pura, is going to be destroyed, infiltrated by the enemies. Now put that in a context of the today's scenario. What is happening all over? As long as you like the food, okay. Like the drink, okay. Like the scenery, okay. Everything is just happening without any control from the mind, which is supposed to be controlling for the welfare of the residents, welfare of your heart, welfare of your liver, all your kidneys, all the citizens which are located inside this city were supposed to be in a top-notch condition so that you can live long, but it's not happening. Between the mind and the guardsmen, the Darwan, enemies are just getting in and creating a lot of issues. And before you know, the city falls apart, and it's no surprise. So what do we do about it? First, you need to understand this analogy that all the guardsmen, all the sense organs are controlling your life. And it's definitely not for better, but for worse. And that's why we see so many diseases, diabetes, heart attack, cancers, obesity, and a lot of psychological illnesses derived from all those things. We are suffering. Why? Because we allowed the guardsmen to get the bribe, and without caring the wellness of the citizens. So you have to start realizing that senses are just senses. They're going to allow food, but who is actually allowing the food? The mind. And as the mind is allowing all these things because it likes to get drunk with all these things, whether it's drinks or food or whatever, right? And it doesn't stop there. Even if some kind of backbiting is happening in the party, you want to stay away from it, but you don't. You enjoy. And all these things come in, and then later on, you have to confront the same guy you were backbiting about, and you have to hide things and all those things. So it's a typical scenario of the sansar is showing that there is a heavy infiltration of the sansar within us. So we need to wake up the mind. And the only way to wake it up is by studying it, witnessing it. Because the awareness that we have that can be created and developed and more heightened with the meditation. As you keep on watching this totally unacceptable behavior of the mind because of which you are suffering, you are standing apart. And now you start to get the whole picture where the mind and the body are the culprits. They are the partners in crime, and the body is suffering, mind is suffering. Physical, mental, all those things are happening in your life. If you don't want those, then only stepping away from it by being a witness, you start realizing where the problem is. And what happens after you start realizing? Your awareness starts building up that there is an entity called consciousness, which is standing apart from the mind and the body and the senses and watching it as a standalone witness. When that happens, the consciousness starts creating its own presence, its own personality. And the original authority that was supposed to control everything was the soul, but we took it away from it. We made the mind the chairman, the Indra. But the Brahma is a lot higher. And we don't even know where Brahma is. So we need to meditate and sharpen your awareness and make the awareness stronger. And then that's where the power is hiding. Why is the power hiding with the awareness? Because it's the truth. Even though you may not like it, it is the truth. It is the reality. And when you realize that that is the reality, the power of awareness starts rising so much that the mind, the body, the sense organs start becoming a secondary. They start losing their power that we had given. And why we had given? Because we didn't know anything about our true self, the soul. We never knew about it. And that's why the mind and the body were doing whatever they wanted to do. So the sense organs, if you try to suppress them just like that, it's not going to happen. Because right now you live at the mind level. What are you going to do? That's all you have, the mind. So it says, okay, I'm going to take an oath that I'm not going to eat this, or I'm not going to do that, or I'm going to do 7 days, 8 days of attai, and now it's going to fix everything. No, it's not going to fix everything. As soon as the 8 days are over, your mind is still there because you don't know what the soul is. You have never practiced meditation. You never gone within to realize the true presence of your true self. You have never realized. So it never comes into the picture. As soon as your fasting is over, mind takes over again. So this is the play we are playing in our life all the time. And who are we fooling? Just ourselves. So we need to put the soul in charge. And only when that happens, we start withdrawing our energy from the sense organs. And Patanjali called this pratyahara, the reversal of all the energy you were wasting towards your sense organs. I'm not saying don't eat or don't drink. Eat, drink, whatever you need to for sustenance of the body, but not to stimulate your senses. When that starts happening, the ultimate empire of the real king sets in. And that's when the peace and prosperity comes into the city, the Pura. And from that, the word came Purush. So much for today.